What's up, squad? It's Brandon from the Bantu Sun. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, I wanted to chime in on this comment from President elect Trump on how he believes Turkey is behind the overthrow of Assad within Syria. So, obviously, he must have been watching our channel, or he's just a clued in guy. But who has been saying that? We have been saying this for a while over here on this channel as we look at the geopolitical landscape and who has cui bono, as they say, to whose benefit this would be for the overthrow of Assad. And I think in this quote, President Trump leaves out the best parts. The overthrow of Assad is obviously a triangular formation from three different directions: Turkey, Israel, United States. Now, if you look at the landscape, Israel wanted a secure border and they wanted an opportunity to finally secure the Golan Heights and to flank Hezbollah in Lebanon. This has obviously, with the overthrow of President Bashar al-Assad, this has given Israel the ability to finally dominate that southern corridor in this with no contest whatsoever now. So now they have their foot in Syria comfortably in the Golan Heights region, as well as they're able to sliver up that eastern coast of Lebanon, and now they can flank Hezbollah in Lebanon if Hezbollah was to get overly aggressive, or if Israel needs to make offensive moves with inside of Lebanon. That's one piece of this triangular formation. You have Turkey, of course, right? Now, President Trump is right. When it comes to Turkey, they do want to control this region, and it's a lot of reasons for doing so. One is Erdogan, being the brilliant geostrategist that he is, he sees the opportunity of a waning Russia. And this is why understanding the players, the history is so important. Who was the greatest benefactor? One could say. Who was the greatest benefactor of the ailing Ottoman Empire, the sick man of Europe? Who was it? As the Ottoman Empire was getting bigger, it was the West, at the time, Britain and France, trying to check the expansion of the Russians. So you see this inverse relationship. As the Ottomans became weaker, the Russians became bigger and stronger. And now you have this situation where pressure and screws are being put onto Russia. What is happening? Just like clockwork, the Turks are becoming stronger and stronger and stronger within the region. Istanbul is to become the hub. Istanbul has their eyes set on leadership within this region. So what Erdogan is seeing, okay, I can be the nexus for the region. I can be the energy center of the region, even though I'm not a major energy producer. By geography alone, all pipes through Europe has to flow through us, the Turks. And he's using this with the energy-rich Caspian to his east, the Arab states, the Gulf states to his south, primarily Qatar, and parts of North Africa, as he built relationships further with his hands in Libya and Algeria. And he's doing this with his alliance, de facto alliance, through NATO with European nations. Because he kind of have what you would say, a get out of jail free card. You know, he has carte blanche because you can't invade a NATO country. I do believe they tried to take him out with the coup. And the coup he was unsuccessful. He was strong enough to withstand the coup. So he's positioned himself as this new center, and that allows him a lot of leeway, overtly, but also clandestine, in a clandestine nature, because there has been Financial Times reports about how Erdogan and his family are linked to some of the oil trade with some of these rebel groups that were operating in northern Syria and Iraq, benefiting from some of the illegal oil trade. Now, we'll come back to this in a second because we also have to deal with the Kurds issue. But I also want to talk about this last part of the triangular formation against Bashar al-Assad, and that's the United States. I really think that the current administration, the people that are in power, or the powers to be, They really wanted to get this thing sorted before President Trump come into office. President Trump can be a little bit of a maverick. He can go off script, and who knows where he wanted to take things. Whereas everybody knows current President Biden, he is the establishment, and the establishment really wanted to knock out Russia. And one of the few strong places that Russia really have is Syria. That's why I say this is really, really big for Russia. They already been shut out of the Baltic. They already shut out of the Black Sea. And this was going to give them a foothold with Syria, an ally, a weapons importer, as well as access to the Mediterranean coast. Like, Russia doing these things with Wagner Group in Africa, good luck sustaining that. Good luck sustaining logistics in Central African Republic when you can't even establish a stronghold next door in the Levant in Syria. So you can say, well, Russia's doing things all over the world, but they are being sealed up. And like the only place really left they have as an outlet is some predatory relationships that they're going to have with China and India. India especially, because I don't think India has any great love for Russia, but they do enjoy benefiting from fire and sell prices on resources that they can benefit from Russia through Russian desperation. So, and in East Asia is the other outlet for Russia, which being North Korea, and China somewhat inconspicuously, because China don't want to get too much involved, because the Chinese are really thinking they can do this by themselves, and they don't want to do anything that's going to interrupt their economic development. So America's seeing this opportunity, taking out President Bashar al-Assad, right? And it's the same strategy they did with the Soviet Union in Afghanistan. Islamic fundamentalists. I've made many of videos. I have no proof, but the situation in Iran, I think, is quite parallel. You take these regimes, such as Iran, a more forward-moving Iran being the most egregious case, but you see America working with the fundamentalists, putting the fundamentalists in power, and these fundamentalists stagnate the economy. They stagnate the economy, right? So you have the situation in Afghanistan, have the situation in Iran, and now you're about to have this situation in Syria, because it's better to be rudderless in this situation. It's better to have these countries rudderless than a functioning enemy. So this strategy of them bringing in these groups, HTS right now, and HTS taking over, this fundamentally recalibrate the situation in the Middle East. Now you have a weak Syria. You have a weak, stagnant Syria, right? I don't see the economic development plan for Syria anytime soon. Now, this is the last piece of the puzzle, right? And this is why I say Trump left this out. He didn't mention anything about Israel role in this. He didn't mention anything about America role in this. He purely puts it on the shoulder of the Turks, which I don't think would have acted out without aid and complicit assistance from the United States. I really think the United States was probably the mastermind of this. If I was to prognosticate, if I was to guess, I can't prove it, right? So, and the reason why I say this is I don't think Turkey or Israel would they wouldn't go rogue without the West buy-in on this. Now, this is the one problem you have, though, when you have this situation. We got the Kurd question, right? And the Kurds, another great American ally. The Kurds have done great work with America in the past, especially with the overthrow of Saddam Hussein. The Kurds have been struggling to get their own nation state. Now, this is directly in opposition to America's ally, Turkey, in the region. Now, Turkey, because they have Kurds within their country, are very, very insecure about Kurds getting any type of land, because they seen what the Jews have done in Israel. They give them a little land, and they built a powerhouse in the Levant. And the Turks are not going to give the Kurds that's sitting on a lot of adjacent and on top of a lot of good oil land, and they know the oil trade, right? They know because they've done business with these guys. These guys have been doing business in the oil trade. They're not going to give the Kurds an opportunity to build up a base in which they can expand. This is something that the West, Turkey and Iran are actually on the same page with, because these three countries or four countries Iraq, Iran, Syria, and Turkey that the Kurds currently reside in. Like, if the Kurdish state was to exist, where is they going to pull the land from? And then you have to worry about the overflow, because now they're operating the base of their own country where they send resistance fighters in to try to overthrow Erdogan, or try to overthrow another country to take off more land for themselves. And this is going to be obviously it's going to be a point of contention, I think, between the U.S. and Turkey, because I think at a moment the Kurds have a valid justification for one of their state, and the Turks are vehemently against this. I even posted a question online on Twitter, and I got a comment, and the person that commented said, I'm a Turk, and I can tell you, we Kurds aren't going to get their own homeland. Like, it is in the culture and blood of the Turkish people not to concede land to the Kurds for nation building. So the Turks are going to stand up against America on this, and I think this was a battle America said, okay, let's have that battle, because what they get is a weakened and a neutered Russia to a degree. Now that's all that's really left, is to double down on what's going on in Ukraine and seal the deal. Russians really don't have much options, and depending on how things go, things can get real dangerous as far as nuclear talks. God forbid such a situation. But you see an opportunity for the West to really ramp up pressure on Putin and Putin's regime, because I always think this is what this is really about. Regime change was in Russia to bring in leadership that is more acquiescent to American leadership. And I think this isn't who President Vladimir Putin is. So with this pressure now, I think America say, if we can get Russia, which is really the crown jewel, because now that you got Russia, now you got the big daddy, right? You got a country that's allied with you that stretches from Europe all the way to the Pacific Ocean. And you have all the Muslim countries, you got China there, you got striking distance to India, you're in the center, right? And this is a great threat that Russia always posed to America. America was always more economically viable because America had their stuff together. But Russia has the geographical positioning, and it has the resources next door to these countries need. And that's the great threat to American leadership. So if you can get a country like Russia to come on board American train, you can check all these other countries when they get out of line. And like I said, you'll have this alliance between Russia, America, Canada, the three biggest countries on the planet. And they're filthy resource rich. Resource filthy rich filthy resource. Like, they have it all. So nobody can really, you can deal with these more populous countries that try to bulk up and contest, because you have the resources to change the flow of the market. So I think America is willing to work with the Turks, and they're willing to hold off of Kurds a little bit longer, because they figure if you can flip Russia, Turkey won't be a problem. And it's better to deal with a strong Turkey and to check a strong Turkey in the long run than it is to try to check a strong Russia. So that's our thoughts. But once again, President Trump, thank you so much for watching our videos. But we've been talking about this for a while now. Love to hear your guys' comments. Comment below. Like, share, subscribe if you enjoy the content. Until next time, until next convo, take care. Bad to up.